I got to play. It's a guy that we both like.
There's one that sold for 61 on April 27th. Damn. Free shipping. Hell yeah, man.
It's not the obvious guys that win you your league.
Oh, I'm on the clock. Oh, no, I got auto pick.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, you missed your pick. People start going way off the board here.
That's a steal, baby.
I was clicking the button. This is all messed up now. How do we get so many auto picks? 2, 1.
Nailed it.
Steve, we are just 2 weeks left in the regular NFL season. And guess what? There's still 24 NFL teams out of a possible 32. 24 teams that are still eligible for the playoffs. This is the closest, most insane playoff race I can ever think of. The MVP race has just been turned on its head week after week. It's going nuts right now, man. We're in the holiday week between Christmas and New Year's. We're back on the football card quest, guys, for week 17, correlating all of the player performance data with the sports card market. We're trying to snipe some cards live tonight, so drop your live snipes in the chat. Let's dig in, everybody. I'm your host, Andy Kaysen. This is Steve, the eBay Hitman, right here. How we feeling, Steve?
Feeling good. And for one reason primarily, and you're going to get an especially big kick out of this one, I was trailing by a monumental, insurmountable lead in my fantasy semifinal. And then thanks to one Sam Darnold-driven touchdown drive, I was able to come back and in a home league make it to my final, my first year in the league. So pretty hyped about that.
Were you starting Sam Darnold? Is that what you were doing?
No. I had Ayuk, but up to that point, he only had 3 points.
Oh, so you're saying you had Ayuk and he wasn't doing anything because Brock Purdy laid a total goose egg and like got the yips against the Ravens, got shut down out in San Fran. And so thank God Darnold came in because then he was lighting Ayuk. He was zipping the ball out there, man. Brock Purdy was cleared to come back, but they did not let him come back. It was Darnold out there.
You heard the theme. It was like WWE. They played Darnold's theme music. He came out there and he cleared the house up a little bit. Too bad he didn't have a little more time. But, it makes you wonder going into this last week, Washington, not a tough opponent. I wonder if you get a little more of that Darnold action.
So is that your reaction? Do you think we get more Darnold action, or do you think they're going back to Brock Purdy as starter? He does have a stinger, right? Purdy does have a stinger
because he did get rattled, twice in 3 weeks now. So I do think that they give him a little bit of a break. I don't know that they necessarily don't play him this week. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but I think they want to get him right, whether that's physically or mentally or both. Going into the last weeks and going into the playoffs. So it's very possible. And Darnold showed that offense is a good fit for him.
Well, Lamar Jackson is a victor in that matchup, is now leading the race for MVP, followed by Christian McCaffrey, who is still in beast mode Monday night. And then Tua, and Brock Purdy's fallen all the way down to 4th. Josh Allen, Dak, Tyreek. What are your reactions to Brock Purdy falling to 4th? Tua now in 3rd. Who do you think is actually going to come away with this thing?
Man, it's hard because I thought Tua belonged up there already, and a lot of people would make the argument that McCaffrey belonged up there already. And it's I know it's that whole position player versus QB thing. It's really hard to gauge, but man, it's really a crapshoot at the top. A lot of people would make the case for Josh Allen just because he's kind of carrying that team on his back, but what are the markers usually for MVP? It's how important is that player to their team, and then a lot of times it's the record of the team as well too. So
yeah, it's the record, man.
That's why I think that Tua should, in my opinion, be in the top 3, and he finally is in the top 3.
Believe it or not, if I go back to the odds, Joe Flacco has actually emerged on the Vegas odds for MVP right behind Matthew Stafford and Trevor Lawrence. Now it is plus 25,000. You're only getting odds from one book. It's Bet365. But Steve, reactions to Joe Flacco and the Browns? He has absolutely been shredding shredding defenses with Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Elijah Moore. I mean, look at this, man. Amari Cooper, David Njoku before Joe Flacco, wide receiver 30, tight end 10. Now he's the wide receiver 3 and Njoku the tight end 2. And I made a really nice Amari Cooper flip this past week. I got eviscerated in best ball, eliminated from a roster that had Amari Cooper. Nonetheless, I mean, he almost set a record in receiving yards. It wasn't, it was there. It was like 265 yards, and the record's like 365 from some guy in 1989. I forget his name. It was like Flipper something with 1989 Rams. But anyways, yeah, I mean, just he is just going off right now. They're playing off a play action. He's throwing the ball deep down the field, and Amari Cooper and David Njoku both have been playing good.
My reaction is I love it, man. I love it whether you're undrafted free agent or you're the expected champion or you're the elder statesman that is playing football again now in Joe Flacco. I love to see it. And you love to see some gas in this offense because you've seen glimpses of it throughout the year with no consistency. And they have elite weapons in the pass game, but no one to throw them the ball. And I'll be honest, until they signed him, I was already counting the Browns out. I didn't think the defense could carry them with the rookie quarterback. But, man, this is a unexpected surprise, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Well, so this is the big question. So we got our OG man in the house, Filthy C, and he wants to know, does he start Amari Cooper in the finals this week? And that's a great question because, I mean, this will be 4th week in a row where Joe Flacco is playing really well, but he's got the Jets this week. The Jets, they still rank 3rd against the pass. They still rank 5th in the NFL in yards allowed per pass. How do you feel about starting Amari Cooper, Joe Flacco, David Njoku this week against the Jets?
You got to, man. You got to.
You got to, right?
The Jets, the past couple weeks haven't been making as many stops in the pass game simply because they're on the field the whole game. The offense is not sustainable, and they're going to be on the field a lot and tired. So I think you got to start them, man. What up, Randy?
I think you got to.
Steven?
I think you got to. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's say Steven Stewart said, "What up, Steve?" Randy Ferguson says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Good evening, sir. James, what's up? James 88, my man. Already up to 55, but then Blacklight Spectra are always a nice buy. 2020 Panini Spectra, Jerry Jeudy, Black Hyper RPA out of 10, number 207, rookie patch auto. Are you in or are you out on Jerry Jeudy at this point, Steve?
I'm like one leg in, one leg out. There's still there's still something there, and I'll tell you why. There's no pass volume, right? They don't throw the ball a lot, but that could change this week, and that could change next season. Whether he's with the team or not remains to be seen. But I know he's a highly sought after guy in this offseason, and we have a QB change this week. I think that will affect things quite a bit. Andy, your opinion on that?
For the Broncos? So
Jason Stidham, man.
Yeah, Stidham is a total flip opportunity. I still think if Cortland Sutton is healthy, he's going to be the go-to guy. Yeah, so Cortland's out. Yeah, okay. The thing is, Jerry Jeudy really has been just a guy. Think about when he was drafted 15th overall in 2020. Who was drafted after him that has been clearly better than him in all facets of the game? Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, probably Gabe Davis. I mean,
You're not wrong.
CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was drafted right around his same capital, but he's better than him. That's five guys right there. Michael Pittman Jr., another one. Like almost everybody all the wide receivers in the 2020 draft class, besides like Jalen Reagor and maybe one or two other guys. Brian Edwards. I mean, I mean, he's all
Well, he
but
was
out
like
of the league.
was he like a fourth rounder?
Yeah. But so we'll give Jerry Jeudy better than Brian Edwards and Jalen Reagor, but everybody else is better than him.
And the Jets drafted a guy that Mims.
Oh God, yes, Denzel Mims.
Yeah. So yeah, he
Laviska Shenault. He's better than Laviska.
You know,
Laviska may be misused, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's a lack of talent. It might be a lack of desire, and it's definitely a lack of pass volume for sure. You know, if you put him on a team like the Chargers, you put him on a team like the Chiefs, you put him on a team, and I get it. Not everyone can be on a hyper pass offense, but he hasn't necessarily been in a environment conducive to receiver success. Although, obviously, you had a lot of touchdowns coming from Cortland Sutton, but not a lot of volume, right? He catches touchdowns consistently with very little volume. So, like I said, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you find a card that is too good to pass up on something scarce for a good price, I think it's a good investment, but don't go buying up a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I love the way Sean Payton is shaking things up in Denver. Expected to be cut in March. That's big time, man. Because I mean he has outplayed some decent players this year, like Patrick Mahomes. He's pretty much right there. I'm looking at this graphic here. I'll put it up on the screen. So I'm looking at this graphic here. This was a comment, a post by Fantasy Fanatics 3 hours ago. Russell Wilson is now getting benched despite outplaying, and you can see it basically comes down to rushing touchdowns and then a lower amount of interceptions. But the thing is, Russell Wilson liked this post on Twitter, and that would be something that Russell Wilson does.
You know, I send you a very similar meme, if you want to call it that, before the show about two other quarterbacks, and we'll definitely touch on that one in a bit. But yeah, messy situation. I think that they just feel like season's over for the most part, and you know, maybe the team is just not feeling like Russ is cooking, man. Needs a new kitchen mitt or something.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not relying on Russell Wilson in any of my teams in the finals. I do have quite a bit of Baker Mayfield though, man. And the Dynasty team that Carter and I co-drafted, and we started off the season just terribly with Cooper Kupp, our number one pick, going on, short-term IR at the beginning of the season. We ended up trading Cooper Kupp. We got Baker Mayfield, Cade Otton, and Nico Collins in return for Cooper Kupp and Evan Ingram. I also had Sam Laporta, so I was okay with that trade. I also got the guy I was trading with. I got his first-round pick for next year, and now I'm in the finals against that guy. That's Taps. It's the Maestro, the Dynasty Maestro. I'm in the finals against him, but I cannot believe that Carter and I's squad has come back from obscurity and managed to make it to the finals in that league. And then I made the finals in two other leagues. One league where I had against you. I played you last week and I barely beat you. And then I also beat Biz.
Man. Congrats!
But that league that I beat you in, that roster is dominant, man. Lamar Jackson. And I had CJ Stroud, but then my other QB with Lamar as with Dak Prescott. I'm trying to have 6 different leagues, but I made the finals in 3. That's what I do know.
Especially at this juncture in the season and the playoffs, player health is a make or break thing. And I didn't have Jamar Chase. I didn't have Keenan Allen, and you had every single guy on your team healthy that was a starter. So. Very fortunate, man, and best of luck this week.
Yeah, guys like Jerome Ford, Jalen Warren have come in really clutch for me this year. adding depth to that running back position when I can count on them having pretty big roles and just getting there through volume. Rashad White has been fantastic. And I've had a bunch of Rashad White, not just in fantasy, but cards. So now I've got the Baker Mayfield cards. I've got the Orange Prism rookie ticket auto Baker that I will get listed, but I'm not like the guys on Sports Card Strategy, Steve, were trying to tell me I need to sell it now, sell now on Baker. But the thing is, his prices are still so cheap.
Are you going to go get a downtown or a Kaboom anytime soon?
No, I'd love to, man. But hey, he might have such a good run. What's interesting, he is going to hit the free agency market. Do you think he stays with the Bucks and takes maybe they can give him a pretty decent contract or a team-friendly deal? Or do you think he actually seeks a different team? Maybe he goes back to the Browns. What do you think about Baker?
I could see him doing like a 2-year. Something like 2-year, 20, 30 mil each year, something like that. Similar to what Cousins will be looking for.
So let me bring him up with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And I know this is crazy, but Baker Mayfield is a number 1 overall pick. And the Silver Prism is really rare from 2018. It's only got a pop of 13, but the PSA 10, the last one, sold on March 9th. Man, so it's been a while.
Dang.
But the PSA 10 for Josh Allen, the last one for Josh Allen, sold for 10 grand. 10 grand back on February 1st.
Pop 26. Wow.
Pop 26, and the Lamar Jackson, a pop 28. And you can see that one's actually selling pretty recently for $1,684. So if I can get a Baker Mayfield one for just a couple $100 here, man, I mean, like that would be, I think, an ideal card with how rare it is and just such a premium card from 2018. That's a true short print, man.
13. Those are some seriously low pops for a card that, like you said, is quite scarce.
So I love the scarcity, and Baker was just so cheap. I got to think that he's still pretty cheap, but I'm curious to what the rookie ticket autos, because that's kind of like the marquee market that I would look at for Baker Mayfield right now. I mean, still a PSA 10 for $400. That's still really cheap, man. That's still really cheap compared to Lamar and Josh Allen. People are going to think I'm crazy for even putting him in their category. I'm not like based on his actual production over the past 3 years, just the fact that he's getting ready to take the Bucks to the playoffs. We're playing the Saints this weekend, Steve. How you feeling about that game? I mean, bringing it full circle, here this week. Should I feel any reservations about Baker this weekend against the Saints? It's in Tampa.
It's one of those teams that usually plays Tampa pretty tight, and Carr has looked rejuvenated. A lot of people were pretty hard on him those couple games where he absolutely sucked, but he had no business being on the field. He was very injured, and Winston should have been playing. So I would be a little bit nervous, but I do think Tampa will win the game.
James said he heard the Bucks will still want Baker next year. I can see it. Yeah, another like a little 2-year deal. So yeah, he's got a lot of future potential to get out. Obviously, I'm probably going to try and sell this Baker Mayfield in the playoffs, but I'm not selling now. I'm waiting until we get in the playoffs. Kevin Corey said he could have used these Football Card Quest glasses as stocking stuffers. What
might need to expand the Card Quest shop, buddy.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I have some mugs. We have a little shop through Teespring, but I think it's the old logo. Some people like the old logo better than the new logo. It's kind of got some nostalgia effect for me now. But I appreciate that, Kevin Corey. Jared Stidham. So Jared Stidham's probably blowing up right now. Obviously, the Broncos are one of those teams that still they still have a shot, man, here at 7-8. I mean, I got to think that they still got a shot. This is a good matchup against the Chargers here. Favorable matchup. I think Jared Stidham could really make some noise here, Steve. It sucks that Cortland Sutton's out, but next man up. I mean, let's see what Marvin Mims, the second round rookie's made out of. Let's see if Jerry Jeudy's got anything left in the tank.
Yeah, I think with the QB change, a lot of people would assume that it's going to go better, but I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I think that not that Easton Sticks played good, but I think that this will actually be a pretty close game.
So let's go pop over to Keep 'em real quick and look at 2019. So we're always, Prism Silver 2018, 2019 is just really, it's just really nice, really nice sweet spots. So let's pull in Jared Stidham. Let's pull in Kyler Murray. And let's pull in Daniel Jones. Who else am I missing? I mean, really from 2019 that we want to look at. Dwayne Haskins, he's deceased. Rest in peace. But I mean, even just pulling these three guys in, the Stidham's current trend of 60. So Prism PSA 10, definitely don't want to pay more than that. Don't get crazy. If you can see what the current trend is for Kyler at 140, and that's actually up because I want to look at the 30-day. Yeah, he's still down a little bit. Yeah, he's down. He's still down, but man, he spiked there. He spiked probably when he got active. The Daniel Jones is still at 70, but no transactions actually. People aren't really buying them, and yeah, we probably have the Stidhams are going off right now tonight. So if we just back this out,
you got a little simmering in the pot for Stidham, but the minute he throws a touchdown this weekend, that's going to change.
Kevin, appreciate you, man. So. No, that's what we were just talking about, Filthy. I mean, he's played better than Patrick Mahomes. Steve, have you pre-ordered any 2023 Prism blasters?
I have not.
We've been sharing this with everybody. You can actually get them on Target.com right here. They still have them. You can get them by next Friday, $29.99. I mean, that's a pretty good deal, man.
Free shipping with a red card.
Yeah, 5% plus free shipping. So my wife had the red card. I had her order me a couple on her app, and bing, bang, boom.
Are they doing the manga cards again?
They are. Yep, I saw the manga. I saw the, they got all the typical suspects, the Prism Golds, Silver Prism Rookie Autos. The design's pretty solid. And I think it's going to be a good sealed, a good product to hold sealed. You got 3 primetime quarterbacks. That's right. Where's he at out there? I know I saw his name earlier. It's just changed to Kadon Salters Heisman. That's Kadon Salters Heisman, JD. Okay, that's how you say it. That's Kadon Salters Heisman. Kadon Salters Heisman, JD. Is looking for those Bryce Young silver prisms, and Bryce Young will be in the set quite a bit. But the thing is, I have not seen the checklist, so I'm really hoping that Panini has got guys like Puka Nacua in there. But yeah, just want to share this information. This is what we do, man. We share information.
Say this, for the price, seems like a good buy, honestly. I mean, first of all, if you live in the Chicagoland area, you can't really find a whole lot of pro uniform product, even right now, even with the hobby, printing a little bit more and slowing down. You're not finding Mosaic. If there's anything at the store, it's Score probably. And even that I haven't seen a whole lot of. So, I mean, the fact that A, you can get it for sure. B, that it's under $30 with the red card discount, and it's free shipping. If you had that itch for a wax product to rip, it seems like a good buy, honestly.
100%. I've always said if you can get them at retail prices, sign me up. Sign me up because it's well worth the entertainment value plus the chance of pulling something nice. And I might have to. Steve. I'm gonna have to buy me some more Baker Mayfield cards still at these prices.
You know which one I bet's probably really affordable still? The Donruss base, and that's a great card because you got the rated rookie logo, you got the no helmet look.
I cracked this PSA 8 silver prism out, and now I got me a nice silver prism short print raw with the PSA 10 that goes for crazy prices because it's so cheap. Let's see, new message. I got a new message about my base Lamar Prism.
Let's see the low ball message.
28 lowest you would go. I'm sure you get this a lot, right? I'm sure you get this a lot. How do you guys respond when you get this? Like I get this a lot. Lowest you would go. So I tried, like there was one card I tried to sell on Christmas, but I replied pretty quick. It was a Justice Hill, really rare card. They're like, lowest you would go. And I was like, it's Christmas. Just for you, I'll do $50. And then I never got a response back. I was like, what? I gave you like $30 off the card. Like I was feeling generous. It was Christmas, but now I'm just going to have to sell it in the playoffs,
Yeah. What's hard about those kind of messages is a lot of times it's on a card that's very popular at the time. For example, that Lamar card, there's going to be a lot of people looking to buy that card right now. So you're not really like in a tough spot where you should give too much of a discount. There's other people eyeballing it,
Yeah. How much would you guess a raw Prism Lamar Jackson's going for now? Like $50?
Yeah, probably 40, 50, somewhere in there.
That's probably less than what the Christian McCaffrey. Here's one. Here's a decent one in a one touch. 50. This is today a buy it now that sold for 40. That's pretty good for a raw base Prism.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure that you could have got it in the off season for $20.
Now the question is, we've been talking about how crazy this playoff race is. Clash of the Titans this week, man. Clash of the Titans. Like we've been saying this every week. We said it. If the 49ers can hold their own against this elite Baltimore Ravens defense and Brock Purdy can look like the man once again, then he's a clear MVP. But he didn't, man. He laid a total goose egg. And now the new marquee matchup, Steve. This is it right here, dude. The 11-4 Miami Dolphins traveling to Baltimore to take on the 12-3 Baltimore Ravens. Oh, baby. 47-point over-under, 3.5-point spread in favor of Baltimore. Steve, who do you got in this matchup? I mean, this is the matchup that everybody should be watching because I mean, we're looking at AFC Championship game right here, pretty much. Like I look at the Bills, like real quick, Steve. Well, go ahead. I'll let you give, but I look at the Bills right here playing the Patriots. I'm like, the Bills have been playing great. Yes, they've been playing great. The defense really came alive against the Eagles and the Cowboys, but at the same time, I feel like it's the Bills, and I feel like there's a chance they could lose to the Patriots here. I'm just going to say it, man. I'm just going to say it.
The 12 points with how good the Patriots defense has been.
Yeah, the Patriots defense has been solid.
It almost makes you feel like Patriots probably won't scam it out, but if you're getting 12 points, it's reasonable. I mean, they don't have to. And Bailey Zappi, I mean, he's not blowing the roof off the place, but he has given them an offense. And Ezekiel Elliott, a guy that I drafted, and unfortunately I didn't make it in to the finals, but I had him on just about every roster, and he's paid off huge the past few weeks as a starter.
So, Steve, who do you think wins? Dolphins, Ravens.
That Ravens defense is like a swarm of locusts, man. I mean, anyone that gets the ball is just getting getting destroyed, and Roquan Smith is a nightmare. If they can protect Tua, I think he can do his thing. I really believe, I've been saying it for weeks, Tua should be in the MVP consideration. He can win the MVP. I'm going to say it. Let's go Dolphins, and I want to see Tua jump to the top of the list.
Well, this is the matchup because the Ravens' passing defense is ranked first in the NFL and first in yards allowed per pass. They are the best passing defense in the NFL right now. Their run defense is not bad. They're 10th, but they are giving up a lot of chunk plays, right? They're 22nd in yards allowed per carry, and the Dolphins' run offense is first in yards per carry and third overall, and they're third overall in the passing offense. So this elite offense versus elite defense, while at the same time the Ravens' offense has been solid, right? We'll be honest here, and Lamar's got a lot of shiftiness and mobility and speed with his legs. So the Ravens' run offense is currently ranked first. The passing offense is ranked 7th, but the Dolphins' defense has not been playing bad either, man. They're 21st against the run, but they're 6th in yards allowed per carry. So they're really doing good and keeping the ball close to the line of scrimmage against the run. And then their passing defense is 12th overall and 8th in yards allowed per pass. So overall, very solid against the pass. And right now you've got Zay Flowers didn't practice today. What's his name for the Dolphins? Raheem Mostert, knee and ankle didn't practice today, but he's a veteran. They're at this point in the season. I think they're considering a lot of Wednesday stuff as the week day one of the practice week. You know what I'm saying? Because of how deep we are in the season.
Yeah, I mean this is going to be an all eyes on this game on a noon kickoff. There's going to be other games on, but not many have the kind of implications that this game does. Both teams are still going to the playoffs. It's not going to affect that necessarily, but people want to know. People want to see the MVP race. They want to see, who's going to shake out on top. They want to see how an elite offense plays against an elite defense. And last week we saw the Niners get eviscerated. I mean, it almost looked like they knew every play as it was happening. I mean, they knew almost every play, it seemed like, and picked up on it as it was happening. So if they can do that again this week, yikes, especially if Mostert sits, then it's going to be bad.
Yeah, Anani makes a good point. Mark Andrews out. But the good thing is Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina has stepped right up and stepped in there. Has been playing really good. So I think they'll be just fine at that position. Yeah, overall, I think the Ravens win this one at home, man. But I think this is one where you definitely want to be betting overs on Underdog Fantasy. So shout out to Underdog. We got eliminated from Best Ball this past week. So let us know in the chat if you've made any Best Ball rosters through to the finals. I wish you best of luck. Our pick'em, Steve, we're still up over $550 on the season. So if you're new, you can still get in on pick'ems. You can still get in on playoff best ball. And I think there is some easy money to be made. It's still gambling, but I think there's a massive edge because a lot of these teams are going to bust. There's 24 teams eligible for the playoffs right now. Only 8 teams can make it in. 14 teams, 7 on each side, Steve. So, there's going to be a lot of teams that bust, rosters that bust by time that playoffs actually start. And it's $25,000 to first place. So use promo code QUEST if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, and that gets you an instant 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And you can get in on the pick'ems. You can use that free money instantly to get in on the pick'ems with us or some playoff best ball. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to be here every week, all playoffs long. And then after the Super Bowl, we're going to transition into focusing on free agency. And we're probably already going to start talking about draft speculation and following the market every week. And then also doing never too early best ball drafts for 2024.
That's right. That is the off-season life, man. And we, I see that Derek, he said he got 3 teams through. I had A couple get eliminated this past week, thanks to Amari Cooper. But yeah, man, it's exciting. It's exciting, and the best part of it is not setting a lineup. And drafting a deep roster is exciting too, because there's a lot of times where I'm sure you've had the same thing happen. You're doing doing a home league, and there's a bunch of guys that don't get drafted, and you're like, man, I like that guy. I kind of want to have that guy. I think he might do something this year. Well, you can draft that guy and not have to start him, because at some point, if he has a boom week, he is your de facto starter.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's such a lovely format, and when you don't have to worry about start, sit, or waiver wire, I mean, it is my kind of format. I love it, man. So congrats to Kadon Salters for getting 3 to the finals. Good luck to you, sir. That is awesome. That hard work you put in the offseason paying off. And shout out to Machado Sports, Mikado. Welcome to the quest, sir. Appreciate your support on the quest. Glad you could make it to the live chat. We got to get you in on some Underdog fantasy if you're not yet. Promo code quest. But
Andy, I think I think I was just following in my head based on what I remembered. Did we have another 4 or 5 that we hit? I think we did, man.
Oh man, did we?
I was just going off the top of my head, because I know that a couple of the sheets that we didn't save because there was some glitch or something. But
yeah, no, I didn't win any this week. So, but there's always next week, sir. Always next week, and I think we're gonna start with the Ravens, Dolphins, or the Jets, Browns. We get a Saturday game here Saturday night as well. Lions, Cowboys. Steve, this Jets Browns game makes me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Thursday night matchups are super weird. I think the Browns win this one, but I don't know if Joe Flacco goes as crazy as he has been. I don't know about betting overs on Amari Cooper and Flacco and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I mean, if you're basing it off of recency, then I don't see why not. But it's hard to bet on a guy that almost set a receiving record, because the following week there's obviously going to be like some return to reality, whether that's pre-breakout game, or if he's just going to keep on cooking. I think he'll still have a pretty good game. He's not going to bottom out, but it's hard to say. I think that they ultimately win too, and the Jets just won't be able to stay on the field.
If the Jets can't stay on the field, they can't sustain drives due to a weak quarterback position, then that's gonna be good for the Browns. We got a good Browns defense here as well, so it's not like they're Browns rank 12th in yards allowed per carry. They're second overall against the pass. I mean, this is a solid Browns defense. So I mean, the writing on the wall here to me is kind of like this could be a low scoring game. I mean, we got 36, 35 point over under. I kind of just want to avoid it, or maybe bet the unders on this game. If I was looking at Browns players, I mean,
what's the line for like Brees?
If it's high, I'm definitely going up, but it's only 45.5 rushing yards. He could break that in one play.
I thought he looked like he was running pretty hard last week.
Yeah, I think he's running really hard right now, man. And you look at that, he had 180 scrimmage yards last week between rushing and receiving. I mean, so but the week before at Miami against a stout Miami defense, he gets 18 total yards. Well, so that's the volatility I'm worried about.
Blowout though, so.
Well, I mean, I'm worried about a blowout tomorrow night, like you said, not being able to stay on the field for the Jets, not being able to sustain drives, being forced to throw the ball, and the Browns just shut them down, man. So I could see another scenario like that playing out tomorrow night, or I could see him breaking off a couple big ones. I think it could go either way. But overall, I'm looking at it like, man, this is pretty sketchy. Like, this is pretty speculative. I'd rather bet on like
Trevor Siemian.
honestly, Steve, I'd rather bet on some kind of like Joe Flacco's been dropping back just an ungodly amount of times. I mean, look at the pass attempts the past 3 weeks, 45, 44, 42. They don't seem to have a problem letting them drop back that much, but if they're in a massively positive game script here against the Jets, then maybe I'll dial up Jerome Ford. I mean, this rushing yard prop is super low. For Jerome Ford, all these props are really low in my opinion, man. And Amari's only got 57.5 receiving yards. This game is at home, so that's good for Amari, right? Isn't it at home? Amari's like the man, or no, it's away, right? Or it's away. Well, maybe it's different with Joe Flacco. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, he's hit that quite a few weeks in a row. I think that he didn't practice today, but let me see. That, like you said, that could just be a veteran rest day. Listed as questionable. Let's see. Expected to suit up. So, yeah. They're calling it a difficult matchup, but 56, I think you said. It's not a big number.
It is difficult. Check this out, dude. Joe Flacco, bronze, serial numbered out of 329. So bronze has got some color match. Got the Bowman Chrome for $9.68 on COMC. And I could get it even lower if I sign in.
You know, it's interesting. I was actually looking at those over the weekend, those same one.
Ah, see, you were looking at them.
I was.
What does that tell you, man? Look, there's one that sold for up to $22.50 back in February 4th of 2013. So, hey, you know what that was? That was his run in the Super Bowl right there, baby, for the Ravens. So, hey, we just need Joe to make another Super Bowl run. These are definitely going up.
Yeah, I mean, if he makes it to the Super Bowl, those will be worth a lot more than that. But yeah, I mean, it's listed at $8. I could probably guarantee take 6 if you offered it to him.
I like the bronze. And then this guy's marking it 10% off the card stock. So there's a good chance, and there's only 3 of them. They're serial numbered. I kind of like them. And
Bowman Chrome and Topps Chrome are, you know, the equivalent of like the Optic and Prism for the earlier football markets.
Yeah,
but
man.
If you followed any higher end Flacco stuff that's ended in the last couple of days, I mean, it's popping off, man. His stuff is expansive right now.
So I'm trying to find an angle that we can get in on his market before tomorrow night. Because I mean, if he puts a beat down on the Jets.
So Andy, that
defense.
copper refractor right there, that one, right there. If you go on 130 point, I'm pretty sure it sold for over $150 today on eBay.
Yeah, there was one that sold just 2 weeks ago for 21. But let's check this out, because I mean, this is a sick card, because this card I would reprocess as elite, because you're looking at a scan right here and you can't see any of the refraction. And I love the scarcity. I mean, these cards, the scarcity is already pretty good from 2008, but you add in a refractor from the iconic 2008 Topps Chrome sets. I mean, look at that card. It's just sick with that big old fat rookie card logo there. So yeah, let's check that out real quick, Steve, because these listings show up on eBay. That's what I love about COMC.
Oh, never mind it. The one I was looking at was the gold. They look pretty similar, but the previous one, the Bowman Chrome that you had pulled up, sold for over $14 yesterday, $14.25.
And you would think that. Oh yeah, I see where your gold see from COMC store too, for 150. But you would think that this color match one is got to be worth more than this, given the fact that you could reprocess it as elite. Like here's one out of 425 that sold for $35. Buy it now. Is that the copper? Yeah, we're looking at the copper. So there's a better photograph of it, phone photography. Well,
it's not even the same card.
Yeah, what happened there?
Click,
eBay's acting a little
view
goofy
original
with.
listing on the top right.
Yeah,
To the right,
found
to the right.
something similar.
Keep going.
Oh,
Up,
so-
up. In the blue bar. View original listing. There you go.
Oh, I see what it did. They redirected me. I got you. So yeah, I mean,
those are beautiful cards, man, and the power of a photo in your listing is very underappreciated.
yeah, this is a bad photo. I mean, who puts it on a paper towel like that? I mean, that's kind of goofy. I mean, the guy's 100% positive, so that makes me feel good, but it is kind of a weird picture. I mean, it's not the worst, but he could have done a lot better.
What would it cost you to buy all three of those coppers, Bowman Chrome ones?
Okay, so that's 50. Let's go back. You were curious about the coppers. They have a blue. Let's see where those Bowman Chrome rookie auto. It's 76.53, and you had one sale at January 20th back in the playoffs of 2013 at 123. I kind of like that as well. If you really think Flacco's going to make a run with the Browns, which is certainly possible. There's a lot of the Bowman Chromes, man.
I think it was towards the top, and it was.
Well, yeah, I've got it sorted by print run. So there it is. Okay, so 3 from 820. It would only cost you 16. Like,
so I would send 3 offers for like $6 a piece, and you just saw the most recent one sell for 14. So try to buy them for 6 each, and then relist them all for 14 or 15.
Yeah. That's your entry level play. And you've got known scarcity around the card. The copper refractor is not bad. And then you've also got the I would go with that Bowman Chrome auto down here. Where did I see that at? I like that one as well, man. Right here, 76.53 Bowman auto, Chrome rookie auto. I'd also reprocess this as elite. But yeah, that's a nice card right there as well, man. Because you talk about the scarcity, and then you've got a rookie auto, that big old fat rookie card shield. I wonder what this card has sold for recently on eBay. Bowman Chrome auto.
I feel like it's got to be 80 to 100, I would think.
40 on Christmas.
Okay, auction. There you go.
There's the Topps Chrome auto, 75.
Sideways pick.
Sideways. Yeah.
No auto on that one.
No auto. Then we got a bunch of, but that's how rare it is, dude. That's how rare it is. So yeah, you're not too far ahead of the 40. You could hunt the auctions, but yeah, I mean that's a sneaky play. What about let's move on to Saturday night, Steve, because this Lions team is so much fun to watch right now, and it's just such a pass funnel defense. You know, people don't even really try and run the ball against them. It's just, man, the Lions are such a shootout friendly team. Look at this over under we've got here with Dallas, 53.5. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs has been going off. I wish I still had some Jahmyr Gibbs cards in my inventory. Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud, although he did have a fumble at the end of one of his big runs last week. But he's still really good, obviously. I mean, and the Sun God, man, Steve, I've been watching a lot of his cards since last week, and we talked about how expensive his rookie autos have gotten. Man, his rookie autos, like his good cards, are in that primo range of like almost that Jamar Chase type range, dude.
Yeah. He's still climbing. I mean, his stuff's been expensive since he came out, but you know, he's finally getting over that whole draft capital argument, and people are paying top tier prices. I mean, even you know, you looked up the base rookie ticket autos, and those are going like in the $60 to $80 range. Comparable players are going for, you know, 150 or 200. So there's still some room.
Yeah, people still aren't paying like big money for the base market. As you can see here, I've compared them and pulled them up with CD Lamb. I mean, you look at across the board, whether it's the base Prism PSA 10 for CD Lamb, that's 50. For Amon-Ra, it's not even like up here. One, because it's 2021 and it's such a hard PSA 10 to get. So it's like, I don't even see that card up here for Amon-Ra, which is weird, Steve, but I think that's just because it's probably such a hard card to get a PSA 10 on. I mean, where is Amon-Ra? We've got a Prism Silver. We still don't have a base Prism. Okay, there's the base Prism. Well, it's going for 64. Why?
45.
Only 45, man. 22% PSA 10 hit rate. So just like Trevor Lawrence, it's like near impossible to get a PSA 10 on a base Prism Amon-Ra St. Brown. And so in return, they do go for $60, $68 if you can find them, because people are kind of grade chasing those cards. And then you look at the CD Lamb, it's only going for 50, Steve.
Whoa.
But Prism Silver, yeah, okay. 150 for Amon-Ra, 150 for CD Lamb.
Pretty dead on, man.
What about I'm not seeing the optic hollows are pretty far down here.
That light blue right there. Those are actually pretty short print, and I think they make for a good color match.
It has only one PSA 10. One.
There is one.
One. That was December 9th. That guy, you know, he's just going to sit on that card for like literally forever. He probably takes it to the National and he gets like a bunch of crazy offers on it.
It is a one of one in its own way, I guess.
The one of one, man. But that begs the question, you know, so when you're on eBay and you're shopping for 2021 Prism and you're looking at some of these rare color match parallels for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you're like, man, I gotta get me a Prism Amon-Ra St. Brown. Probably not ideal to buy it raw, especially don't expect to get this even if the centering looks good and convert it to a PSA 10. You might get lucky on that one. It looks really good, but still, I don't see it happening, Steve. What's the conversion rate on a silver? 29%. It's a little bit better than the base, but still.
That's still, I mean, that's extremely low. I mean, you see that, you know, some of these other bigger names, you know, even with more cards submitted, that percentage is still low. So the pop is not ever going to be very high on any of these guys, because that set, anyone that was buying 2021 Prism, or even if you bought singles, you had to have noticed centering problems, surface problems. There's just condition problems with that set in general. So if you have a 10, genuinely, even if it's a base, it's pretty special.
Where people are paying the big money is for any of his autograph stuff. I mean, look at this camo auto out of 25 SGC 9 auto 10, $365. That's a big time transaction. People are paying a lot of money for his rookie autos.
Another nice one, I picked up a 10 of his blue scope from Optic.
Okay.
Which is nice because blue's a color match, and in comparison to some of these others, it's actually a lot more affordable.
Blue scope, yeah, it seems like Optic is lagging behind here quite a bit. Well, actually, I've got it filtered by Panini Prism, so let's go look at Panini. Let's type in Panini Donruss optic. And by the way, guys, I get this question a lot. If you guys want to access this web app, just check out in the description below, footballcardquest.com. And there's a Go Premium button in the top right. You sign up for any of our membership tiers, you get access to this, our Discord server, our weekly articles, and any other premium content like our group grading submissions, all that kind of good stuff. Our breaks. We're getting ready to do a 2023 Prism break at cost, for those guys. So check it out. It's just footballcardquest.com. Scrolling across the bottom right there, footballcardquest.com. Click that Go Premium button. It's all part of the no off season.
We talk a lot about inconsistencies in the market, and that's kind of where you should make your plays, right? Because it's not the Prisms are so close to price. Which one do I buy? Well, why don't you look at these two optics, and you can see that it's almost half the price for the Amon-Ra optic as it is for the CD Lamb.
When we're looking at blue scopes?
Well, I was looking at the bases just as a entry point there.
So the base, that's interesting, man. What's the base doing? A 52% grade rate, 120. Why are these going so low? And then the CD is actually going for 45 with an even higher PSA 10 hit rate, a much higher population. That I think that's a market. I think right there, that's what you call a market discrepancy, and you attack that optic PSA 10 for Amon-Ra all day,
And the fact that I saw some auctions going under 20 in a few cases when you mouse wheel down, I mean that's a no brainer, dude. That guy's very good. He's not going anywhere, man.
Like, that's under 20 for that card. That is a no brainer, man. And this happened just in the past 2 weeks. Because look at what some of the other buy nows, 32.50, or you could have a well timed auction. Obviously, look, this is game day, 7:02 p.m. Get that right, 34. But we're looking at a playoff team right here, Steve. I mean, this matchup against the Cowboys, it would be great if the Lions win. I'm sure the Lions want a first round bye and home field advantage in the playoffs, and that is definitely on the table for them at this point. But even if they lose, they're in the playoffs, dude. And this is a good team. I think they make some noise.
Speaking of, I'm actually still curious to see where that blue scope price was, and actually we could check similar cards for both of those guys. I don't remember if they made a blue scope in 2020. I know that there was a blue version.
Yeah, well, we got an optic blue scope.
Okay, so they did make it in 2020. Okay, so the price is still pretty different.
Still pretty different. And this is like, looks like a little dip for CD. But let's look at the 1 year, man. This December 3rd transaction. Now it's legit right there. That's a blue scope PSA 10 that's sold for $150 a quarter. Buy it now. So you love to see that. But then we had an $80 buy it now, $81 auction, and an $80 buy it now just this past week.
What's crazy too is we've talked about this in other episodes, but you see a pop count and you're like, 220, that's kind of high. I got news for you, man. It's not. If you go look at baseball print runs, basketball print runs, and look up some pop counts of parallels, thousands in the tens. So these are very low pop counts.
Very low, man. This should be a very liquid, popular card for you to take to a card show. Looks great. I mean, what collector doesn't want like a blue scope? I mean, we're looking at sold data. The only thing that's had more solds in the past 30 days is the green velocity, which I think if you look at all the parallels, Steve, velocity has got to be the most popular. But if we zoom out, actually look at this, Steve, we zoom out to 180 days, so 6 months, and actually the blue scope has had more solds than the green velocity. Green velocity got 125 PSA 10s, and the blue scope's got 220, so that definitely plays a role. So blue scope a little bit more common But I think it's just as popular. I mean, the blue looks good. There's your hyper. That one looks good too. Velocities, hypers. But what would you say is more popular? Which would you rather have walking into a big card show? The laser green velocity or the blue scope?
I think the perception is that the green laser is always more uncommon. And actually, I think they maybe slightly are, but not as much as they were in like 2020 and years before. But the teal velocity is actually the super rare one. The green velocity is just slightly more rare.
And
but
the pink velocity,
the pinks are actually numbered, so those are going to be a lot more expensive.
I know these are really popular as well, because I remember there's a big to do about a pink velocity Chris Olave, if I remember correctly, that our man Carter was trying to trade, that he did trade for. He did trade for in a deal for one of his Joe Burrows.
Look at that pop count, man. 17,
and you had that $200 buy it now at the beginning of the season, followed up by 100. Man, where was I on December 10th, dude? This is solid snipe.
Not watching that auction, I guess.
Not watching that auction.
But yeah, no, I mean these are guys that are very high end on the receiver hierarchy, man. You can't go wrong on either of these guys, and the prices are still reasonable when compared to other players, especially people that are, in my opinion, equal or less than their skill level, that are more recent 2022, 2023 rookies, because, that's just the way it is. The newer guys are being bought up more because that's just what's popping right now.
I'm surprised.
That's a buying window.
I'm surprised to see these optic stars doing pretty good. They're not a true case hit or anything, but they are pretty rare. And they seem to be pretty popular even for Lions players, as you can see. I mean, this sold for 140. Buy it now, PSA 10 on Halloween, back on Halloween, and it's only got a population of 27. And you don't have that kind of data for CD in 2020. They weren't doing those emoji optics.
No, man, those are any of the optic parallels, honestly, are very sought after. I know that there's like a little bit of a poo-poo around like the pinks, because those are like the retails, but they still sell well. Any of the optic parallels sell well.
All right, Steve, who wins this burner of a matchup? But I'm betting overs in this matchup on both sides.
I think the Lions O-line is still banged up, which is why I picked them to lose last week. So I'll go Lions, man.
Go Lions. Yeah, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than 6 points. I definitely think the Lions cover that spread. Definitely betting on the Lions here as well, Steve. And then you said Dolphins. I went Ravens. Dolphins, Ravens. We're taking different paths on that one. Patriots at the Bills is not a lot to talk about here from the Patriots side, other than to remind you guys to sell Bailey Zappi. I mean, he's still starting. He could light things up here, but he's definitely not a long-term answer. So I would take advantage and kind of sell him if you can get like starting quarterback prices for him. And then I'm still a proponent that you should sell Josh Allen as well, because I think his stuff is still super expensive. A lot of expectation baked in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's in that MVP conversation right now, and he's a guy that we see every season fluctuate dramatically, and you're on an upswing now, so it's a really good time to move out, and you could potentially move back in later.
Your Bears got a pretty easy win over the Arizona Cardinals last week. Justin Fields doing some damage on the ground. DJ Moore had to briefly leave that game, and Cole Kmet also like suffered, I think, somewhat of an injury after that game as well. So I know that's definitely a hit, but Justin Fields, just like we called it, I mean, he's been playing really solid, and they host the Falcons here. I'm rooting for you guys here, so want the Bears. Want the Bears to win this one. How you feeling about this one? You know, Arthur Smith, he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think the Bears are going to win this week too, and it's a shame that Kmet got hurt. He had over 100 yards before the half, and was looking like he was going to have a career day, and then kind of took a hit to the side of his knee with time ending in the half. So that's hopefully nothing serious, but the defense is playing well, the run game playing well enough. They're not turning the ball over, which is what I said last week. Those two things are going to be the key. Obviously, that's like for just about any team winning, but for a team specifically that's been detrimental to them losing, I think that this should be a good matchup for them. And this is an interesting game, Andy, because a lot of people think that Fields could go to the Falcons this next season.
Yeah, I think that's a speculation. I think ultimately the Falcons have got to upgrade at quarterback. Heineke played pretty good last week. He put up some points, but there's just neither one of those guys there are long-term answers. And this is the year, man. If you look at the current draft order for next year, I mean, look, your Bears are still picking at 8 and 1 from the Panthers, but look who's right there. I mean, the Falcons are at number 10. And there's just 4 quarterbacks that are projected to be drafted in the first round. So there's plenty of options. I just think there's no way the Falcons don't upgrade at quarterback. And maybe that's in a trade for Justin Fields. And the Falcons, I don't know what they do, man. But they could draft a rookie here. They could trade for Justin Fields and maybe move up to number 8 spot. You know, it's like, do they really need Caleb Williams or I don't know, Jaden Daniels? Where's he going to go? I think any of these quarterbacks are better options than what they've got now. So I think they've got to upgrade if there's one thing the Falcons do. So I'm all in on Falcons skill position players because I think they get an upgrade and there's going to be a lot of extra hype for them next year. And you could buy them just so low right now. So yeah, but I'm really rooting for your Bears to win this one this weekend.
And I think they will. I think that they will. I mean, Falcons have been playing tough. Bijan looked pretty good last week. I mean, honestly, the whole run game looked good last week. So what it comes down to, though, is I just don't think that with the quarterback they have that they're going to be able to overcome the Bears defense.
Yeah, Bears defense has been playing a lot better lately. A lot better. The Texans defense has been playing better lately as well. They're hosting the Titans this week, and they've been managing to win a game here and there with CJ Stroud out with extended concussion protocol. Steve, is there any news on CJ Stroud? Has he been cleared from concussion protocol finally? He's missed 2 weeks now with a concussion. And because of this, like his rookie of the year odds have slipped way down. I mean, he's still slightly edging out Puka Nacua, but depending on how he plays this week against the Titans, if he plays, I mean, this could be Puka's award to win.
That would be cool, man. That would be cool. I mean, I'm a big proponent of rooting for the underdog, and especially because it's a guy that I was plugging from the get-go. He's just a cool dude, and he's a hard worker. It would be cool to see him win. And as far as availability, CJ Stroud, possible that he plays. They're not leaning one way or the other at this point, but they're giving him a chance to play, but there's no official word.
So we have graded results back for CJ Stroud. This is pretty interesting. His RPS first look from Panini Instant PSA 10. We've got 185 in the PSA database, 17 sales in the past 6 months was probably all coming in the past month. Actually, in the past 2 months there. Card is holding really strong. So I know there's a lot of people out there hopeful. I mean, this Panini Instant is selling for $230 just this past Monday. So I know there's a lot of people out there very hopeful that CJ Stroud makes a comeback and still gets this Rookie of the Year award, finishes strong. There's still a potential playoff run from the Texans. About a 50% PSA 10 hit rate on the base mosaic, Steve. That's about what we expected, eh?
And it's such a new product that you can expect that number to continue to inflate as more product gets open. So, but those prices are obscene. Don't pay it.
Yeah, the first ones that hit market, $600, $510. It's not just one transaction. We're looking at multiple. 450, and then he gets the concussion, and now that card's kind of coming back to a norm. I mean, this still $100. What's cool is now we can pull in CJ Stroud with like even Jalen Hurts. Let's pull him in with Jalen to see
$40 for the Hurts.
Let's filter by mosaic. Let's just kind of narrow it down because obviously Jalen's got a lot of supply. Let's filter by the mosaic. So Jalen's is 40, so the CJ Stroud's still going for twice as much, even though he's down 50% over the past couple weeks. Still going for twice as much. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about sniping that base mosaic Stroud for 100. Plus 2023 Prism just released. We talked about buying those blasters on Target right there. If you're just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button for us sharing that info. And then Steve. So this is a big week for the Texans. They really need to win, especially the Colts taking on the Raiders at home. This is like a big week for both of these guys. And then look at this. All three of the AFC South teams tied for first place right there. Texans hosting the Titans, Colts hosting the Raiders, Jags hosting the Panthers. Let's call it here, man. Kadon Salters is rooting for the Panthers because he's got that probably a Bryce Young roster in the finals this week. But who do you think? Well, the Raiders have been playing really good. They just knocked off the Chiefs, man.
Yeah.
Their new head coach Antonio Pierce is really making a strong case to be their long-term head coach at this point. And who do you think gets this, Steve?
If you're the Colts, this is not the time you want to play the Raiders. You would have wanted to play them much earlier in the year, but essentially in what's probably a must-win game for the Colts, I think that they come out on top in this one. And the Texans, I think that if Stroud doesn't play, Titans actually have looked formidable, and Henry is just going to be the guy carrying the load for that team. And what's is probably his last year with the team. So, and then I do agree that I've talked to a lot of people about this Jaguars game. Panthers might actually win this game just straight up. That's how bad the Jaguars have looked. And I've been banging that drum for a few weeks now. I thought that they have overachieved, and we talked last week about how Trevor Lawrence is statistically Daniel Jones, and we're seeing it here, man.
Now, are you factoring in the fact that Trevor Lawrence has played through like multiple injuries? I mean, it's just been one thing after another, man. Shoulder, ankle, concussion, most recently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a lot. Plus, he lost Christian Kirk. That was like his safety net. His balls exploded, lost him for the season. Calvin Ridley, hit or miss. Evan Ingram is his new safety blanket now. But Trevor's dealing with a lot of adversities right here. It does seem like their season is coming to a tragic and sad ending, and it's going to come down to the Colts and the Texans here, which, my word, if the Texans can make the playoffs and rookie quarterback CJ Stroud, I mean, you better never rip those 2023 Prism blasters open, and they're just going to go up in value, because if it's not CJ Stroud, it's Anthony Richardson. He's going to be mad hype next September. The guy's just a monster. And then you got Puka And you got all these other guys, Bryce. I mean, people are still going to be rooting for Bryce. They're going to chalk it up
you
to.
know what? Stroud and Puka could theoretically not just the top 2 Rookie of the Year candidates. They're both probable at this point to be in the playoffs.
And breaking rookie records, rookie passing records, rookie receiving records. I mean, it's crazy, man. So it's just such a powerful storyline for sealed 2023 product, and especially from a flagship brand like Prism. I mean, it's just one of those things where when people bought 2020 Prism, it just went up and up and up. If you never ripped it, because people love ripping. They love that, like almost like a lotto ticket type feel. But you get to open. Yeah.
Here's the thing: is we're kind of like at this crossroad where like some of the prices are coming down a bit to where it can be what it's supposed to be, and it is a cross between a lotto ticket and for some people it's just fun, and fun shouldn't be hundreds of dollars. You know what I mean? Fun should be reasonable to where you can have fun, not just like once a football season. So
yeah,
Andy, I think this is the perfect time to share that stat comparison meme regarding the Jaguars that I sent you in the Discord.
You sent me a QBR leaders.
Yeah, right there. Oh, right there.
This one. Also, this is Sam Howell versus Trevor Lawrence. Sam Howell's values have really tanked, and he was slinging it, man. He's been benched though. So he 24 total touchdowns for Howell to 19 turnovers versus 23 total touchdowns for Lawrence to 19 turnovers. One is told to sit your fat ass on the bench, and the other is called a generational franchise changing player. Why? Well, it's draft capital, man. It's college lore. It's the national championships with Clemson. It's the whole. It's going all the way back to high school for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, his prospect grade, his scouting report was all like Michelin 5-star. I know Michelin's like 5 is like a restaurant rating or something, but it's like Sports 247 5-star. Carter knows all those acronyms and stuff for high school grades. But Trevor Lawrence has been like that, since high school, man. And so now, he still carries a lot of that with him, and part of that is the number 1 overall draft capital. If Howell had number 1 overall draft capital behind his name, well, yeah, he wouldn't have been benched either.
He wouldn't have, it sucks for Howell, who, if you remember, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, was like second in the league in passing yards. But we talked about how many sacks he's taken, and I'm actually shocked when I'm looking at the number myself now. It's 60. Sam Howell's been sacked 60 times. And you got to think, to some degree, if we're going to talk about injuries and stuff like that, that probably takes a bit of a toll on your performance at some point.
Oh, yeah. No, it certainly does. The Washington Commanders are a flaming dumpster fire, just wheeling down the road, baby. I think that's another team. When you look at the draft prospects, I mean, we're looking at the Commanders right now with the number 3 overall pick. I find it hard that especially now that they've benched, if they don't fire Ron Rivera, damn well they're going to draft a quarterback at number 3. He's already benched Howell. We know he wanted to bench Howell earlier in the season, but the front office, Eric Bieniemy coming in, they're letting him roll. They like him. Guy's got a good work ethic. He's scrappy. They've got no offensive line is pretty bad. They traded away all their best defensive players. Their defense is total garbage. Number 3 overall pick. Dear God, they don't need any more wide receivers. They've got a ton of really good wide receivers.
Running back and receiver are pretty much the only positions they do have cemented. But
yeah,
outside of that, who really knows? I mean, they've traded away their defense. Unless they try to rebuild their core and then roll with Brisket for a year or two.
Kadon Salters says Caleb, Drake May, Marvin Harrison, top 3. No way a QB goes ahead of Harrison. So Harrison top 1. So if Harrison's going top 3, I mean, maybe he goes to the Bears. The Patriots they have to get a QB. The Bears don't really need. They should re-sign Mooney. You know, Mooney's hitting free agency. And you got DJ Moore, so you don't really need a wide receiver. But I mean, why not? I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to draft a quarterback, or they're going to trade Justin Fields because someone else wants to move up. Is there a way the Chiefs can move up and get? Obviously, they need a. Are you worried about Patrick Mahomes? Do you think this is just some late season antics? I mean, he almost looks like he's got the yips out there, man.
I think I was a year early in my prediction. I said last year I thought the hierarchy of quarterbacks would start to shuffle and you'd see him kind of tumble down. I said that last year and it didn't happen, but here we are. And he's not looked that good. And a lot of that has to do with the receivers, to be fair. But Chiefs at 9-6, I think, is the worst record they've had in quite a long time. So what do you think happens this week? Bengals have kind of come back to reality. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not a game that I feel really good about either way.
No, not at all, man. I got to think the Chiefs win, but I think it could be closer than that -7 eludes here. There could be more struggles ahead for the Chiefs. I mean, he really looks like Mahomes is in a rut right now, and it doesn't look like Kelsey is as good as he used to be.
He's not moving too quick. I don't know if he's healthy or what the situation is, but he looks slow.
I don't know. He's got a lot of stuff going on off the field. What about the Vikings? You know, Nick Mullins threw like 400 yards last week, but he also threw 4 interceptions, and they still lost. And it's pretty close. Justin Jefferson obviously making just some unreal plays out there. But they host the Packers this week, whose defense has been bad, man. Packers defense, I gotta say, like some of these defenses that the Bucs have played have really made Baker look good too. So I kind of get both sides of the coin there, and why people say sell Baker, but I'm gonna hold him for the playoffs. Anyways, I don't want to digress too much. The Packers defense has really been bad, and they struggle with injuries on offense. Not too much help for Jordan Love out there. They might. I've heard rumblings that the Vikings might actually give Jaren Hall, the rookie, a start this week. They might go back to. I can't believe they don't go back to Josh Dobbs, but they've totally written that cat off. I mean, what a roller coaster ride for Josh Dobbs this year.
The experiment is over, man. Yeah, this is a pretty important game. So a lot of eyes should be on this one. There are playoff implications, and the Vikings have looked good. The Packers have looked so wildly inconsistent. I think if Jaren Hall ends up starting, I would go Packers. But I think if Mullins, even though he's not good, starts, he at least gives them an offense, a pass-heavy offense that they can win. So that's my.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm going back and looking at this comment from Kate on here. He said Brady got the same pushback the 2 years he was stuck with Jabbar Gaffney as his wide receiver 1. Then he got Moss, and so I go back to thinking, well, all right, where are the Chiefs picking, and what could they possibly package up to move up to get Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like, could that be? I mean, that would just. I mean, if you can buy Marvin Harrison first, Bowman University first, anything, do it, because obviously, like, even if it's a base card, because if he gets somehow drafted by the Chiefs, it's just going to go nuts. Like, it doesn't matter what card it is. Like, you might be able to make some custom cards and sell them. But no, seriously, stick with the license stuff, the Bowman University first, the refractors and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, they get a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth from the Cowboys, but they're picking at 25. So maybe they can package a couple picks and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and send them to the Bears to move up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. The Bears take some goofy deals sometimes, Steve. maybe they'll take like a defensive player. Like, you guys might take. I'd hate for them to see them get rid of one of their really good defensive players on the Chiefs. But
there are at least a couple respectable free agents that the that the Chiefs could pick from. I mean, nothing insane, but Jacoby Myers, D-Hop,
T. Higgins,
Thielen,
they could pay T. Higgins. Kadon's saying there's 6 guys all with round 1 potential this upcoming year. Dear God, we got to get our hands on. This is why that 2023 Bowman Chrome University people poo-poo on the prices that it kind of sells for, especially the base cards and just like the base refractors. But look, it's draft time that you want to sell these things, man. It's draft time that this product is going to spike. It's, college football bowl games are cool. College football playoffs are awesome. Heisman awards are awesome, but it's NFL what drives the bulk of the viewership. The draft is one of the most hyped sporting events of the year. The NFL draft is insanely hyped. It probably gets just as many views as week 1 or the championship games. I mean, it's just crazy, dude. Like Christmas Day, shout out to Lefty McKee from nooffseason.com. He was talking about, comparing the basketball viewership versus the football viewership. And it was like 25 million viewers for the Chiefs Raiders game on Christmas afternoon. And there was like 3 million viewers for the next closest basketball game. I mean, that's how big of a difference there is between football and any other sports. So, and the draft is just like, I mean, it's some people look forward to the draft more than the actual season.
Well, draft is like the unofficial kickoff party for the NFL season. And we talk about it every year, especially early in the season, about how the football market as a whole, especially in trading cards, there's a dramatic shift happening as far as what's popular. It used to be if you went to a show, people were looking for basketball, baseball, yada, yada, yada. And it's now trended to football, specifically young quarterbacks.
Dude, if Patrick Mahomes based honors rated rookie dips under $100 because they get at this point, they maybe don't make the playoffs or they get eliminated from the wild card round, I'm buying because he's going back up. I think Kelsey still plays another year or 2. And if they do get a really good wide receiver in the draft, Rashee Rice is good, but they need multiple options. You got to wonder
if Noah Gray might be the tight end in the next year or 2 there too. I know we talked about him when Kelsey missed a game or 2, but if he keeps, I don't know if he's declining or if he's hurt or distracted or whatever it is, or maybe they're just honing in on him on defense because Chiefs don't have many other pass options. They can catch the ball anyway. It's a guy to think about in the future because obviously he's a guy that's probably going to be around for a couple years. Tom Brady baseball cards.
Yeah, people are chasing on Tom Brady Expos cards. It's just some crazy scarcity on that too. Okay, so yeah, Jarrett Stidham against Chargers. Yeah, that's an interesting place. We shouted at him earlier. Steelers Seahawks. This matchup matters right here. The Steelers Seahawks, and it's important to note there is no Monday night game this week. There's no New Year's Day game. It's all Sunday. There's 14 games on Sunday, Steve. So buckle up, guys. Get hydrated and get your sleep on Saturday night because Sunday's gonna be lit.
Everyone's gonna be glued to Red Zone and their fantasy final scoring window, seeing what's going on there. Yeah, here's another interesting game. Dead on identical records. And I mean, talk about two teams that week to week have like not the same identity as they had the week before, with their offense being firing on all cylinders and not firing. Defense is playing good. Defense isn't playing good. I honestly don't feel very strongly about either team in a positive note, but at your own risk as usual. But we do hear that Mason Rudolph is supposed to start this week, and I do believe Geno was playing. What else? Kenneth Walker questionable, but I'm pretty sure he will play. Let's see, 41.5. So they're not anticipating a lot of scoring there either. I just don't like that game. I mean,
yeah.
On a week-to-week basis, a lot of these teams you can kind of predict what they'll be like the Commanders and the Bucks even. But Steelers and Seahawks are so wildly inconsistent that, other than maybe picking a couple guys to have nice games, I don't feel too strongly about who's going to win.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm gonna I'm gonna avoid it. I feel like it's going under that 41 point total, and it's one of those games. It's in Seattle. Do we know who's starting at quarterback for the Steelers? It was Mason Rudolph.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
Mason Rudolph. So yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's like not exciting at all. But I do think the Seahawks could make some noise at home. Probably, against the run or against the pass. Just don't target whoever Joey Porter Jr. is covering, because that guy's been good, man. That guy's been real good. So, that kind of wraps up our game by game look this week. Our look ahead, Steve. It's been a great show. Thank you for joining me on this holiday week. Thank you to everybody out there in the chat for tuning in. Are there any parting shots you want to leave us with, Steve, before we sign off?
Oh, man. Well, even though we're going to be coming back for a new year, it's still going to be the same football season for a little while yet. So come back and see us next week while we're covering this upcoming week's games and talking more cards and football. And obviously be safe. Don't drink too much, but drink enough to have a good time if that's your thing. And as always, Andy, it was a pleasure.
Well said, sir. Great way to finish off 2023. Guys, make sure you are subscribed. If you're still tuned in now and you are not subscribed to the channel, that is indeed free. So please, you can at least show support by subscribing to the channel, liking the video if you liked it. And if you want to take your support to the next level and get advantage of our perks and benefits, check out footballcardquest.com. Go premium. All part of the nooffseason.com sports card network, guys. If you want to check out the top 3 ways to make money on Michael Jordan cards, well, check out Sports Card Strategy, man. He's got a new video up on that, or he did a little interview with Gary V. They're putting out some good stuff over there with a lot more to come in 2024. I'm pumped up for it. But
don't forget, Andy, promo code Quest on the Underdog website. Do some player props, do some tournaments or some best ball. And looks like we got to finish off with a super chat.
Oh, let's go Panthers. Oh, that sounded so gross, cringy saying that, man.
They got momentum, man.
I do love super chats. Yay, let's go Panthers. Let's go Bryce Young. I'm rooting for Kaden Salter's best ball finals. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you, sir. I wish you the best of luck in your best ball mania 4 teams. I
Good
hope
luck
you
in your
bag it
home
this
leagues.
year.
If you're in a final, get that money.
There you go. All right, guys. Happy New Year, Filthy. Appreciate all you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.